You are not just a body or a limited person in this world. You are an infinite creator, capable of raising your vibration and unlocking your divine overflow. You have been taught to believe in your limitations, in your fears, in the stories of the past that weigh you down. But I tell you now that all those stories are false. You are far greater than what you have allowed yourself to believe. You are made in the image of God, and inside you lies the power to shift the very frequency of your existence. All that you seek, all that you desire, is already within you. It is waiting to be activated by your own consciousness. The key to unlocking this divine overflow lies in aligning with your true self. When you realize that you are not just a small, insignificant person in the vast universe, but an integral part of the divine whole, everything changes. The universe, which once seemed so vast and distant, now becomes your partner, working in perfect harmony with you to manifest the life you desire. Today, I am here to guide you through a process of spiritual elevation, a journey of reconnecting with the infinite power within you. This is not just a concept or a wishful thinking. This is the truth of who you are. The secret, as Neville Goddard has taught us, is to raise your vibration to match the abundance of the universe. And this can be done with a single thought, a single prayer, one that connects you to the infinite wellspring of abundance, love, and fulfillment that is already yours. This prayer will not only raise your vibration, but will also anchor you in the divine overflow that is your birthright. So as you listen, feel the power of this prayer settling into the depths of your soul, activating the dormant energy that is ready to flow freely through you. There is a divine law, a sacred law, that governs the very foundation of your reality, the law of assumption. This law, as revealed through Neville Goddard's teachings, is the gateway to unlocking the infinite flow of abundance that is already yours. You see, my friend, the universe is not waiting for you to deserve its blessings. It is not a place of scarcity or withholding. It is a field of infinite possibilities, waiting to be shaped by your consciousness. But here's the secret. You must assume that what you desire is already yours. The moment you make that assumption, you open the door to divine overflow. The law of assumption states that whatever you assume to be true in your inner world, the external world will reflect. What does this mean for you? It means that your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, all of these are the architects of your outer reality. When you align yourself with the assumption that abundance, success, love, and health are already yours, the universe must respond in kind. You are not a passive observer of life, you are the creator of it. The overflow you seek is already within you, and when you embody the feeling of already having it, the floodgates open. Many people, however, have been conditioned to think that they must wait for something outside of themselves to change before they can experience their desires. They wait for the perfect moment, for the right circumstances, or for some external force to grant them permission. But I say to you, it is not external forces that grant you your desires. It is your internal alignment with your true self. The key is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to live from that assumption as if it were already a reality. This is where the concept of divine overflow comes into play. Overflow is not just material wealth. It is a spiritual state of being, a state of knowing that you are connected to the infinite source of all things. It is an emotional, mental, and physical alignment with abundance, where nothing is lacking and everything you desire is already on its way. The law of assumption allows you to live in that state, to embody it, and to call forth all that you need without fear or doubt. When you assume your divine birthright of overflow, you align your entire being with that state. Every thought, every belief, and every action you take comes from the understanding that you are not separate from the abundance of the universe. You are one with it. Your assumptions create the foundation upon which your new reality will be built. And this, my friend, is the secret that will unlock your divine overflow. When you think of prayer, what comes to mind? For many, prayer is an act of supplication, a plea to a distant, separate deity for help, mercy, or favor. But this understanding, my friend, is incomplete. Prayer, in its truest and most profound form, is not about begging or pleading. It is not about asking for permission from an external force. True prayer is the act of aligning your consciousness with the divine. It is the act of assuming in your deepest being the truth of your own infinite nature. Neville Goddard teaches us that prayer is not a petition to God from man, but a dialogue between the inner self and the higher consciousness. When you pray, you are not asking for something you lack. Rather, you are recognizing that all you seek is already within you, waiting to be activated. Prayer, in this sense, becomes a means of assuming the state of the wish fulfilled, of tapping into the divine flow that is already coursing through you. As you enter into prayer, you are calling upon your own higher self, the God within you, to realign your inner world. You are claiming your divine birthright, that which is already yours, and asking the universe to respond to the truth you are now living. You are saying, I am worthy, I am abundant, I am whole. With each word, with each breath, you are reaffirming your divine identity, and in doing so, you awaken the infinite potential within you. In the stillness of prayer, you step into a state of absolute faith, knowing that the desires of your heart are already manifested in the unseen realm. The power of prayer is not in the words spoken. It is in the feeling, the belief, and the assumption of the reality that you are already living the life you desire. This shift in consciousness is profound, for it takes you beyond the limitations of the material world and places you firmly in the realm of divine creation. When you pray with the understanding that you are one with God, that you are not separate from the flow of abundance, you tap into the universal energy that brings all things into being. You are no longer a beggar at the door of the universe, but a co-creator, a divine partner, ready to receive the gifts that are already laid out before you. This is the true power of prayer, not to ask for what you do not have, but to recognize, claim, and feel that you already possess all that you desire. Prayer, when truly understood and applied, does more than simply change the world around you. It transforms the very frequency of your being. When Neville Goddard speaks of the power of imagination and assumption, he is speaking of the ability to shift your internal vibration, aligning it with the desires you wish to see manifested in your life. This is the key, not just saying the words of a prayer, but feeling the words, living them as if they are already true. You see, we live in a universe of energy, of vibration, where all things are constantly moving and shifting. The material world, the external world, is but a reflection of your internal state. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs all carry their own frequency. And the moment you begin to raise your vibration through the power of prayer, the world around you must shift to match it. This is the fundamental law of creation, like attracts like. When you pray, when you align your feelings with the wish fulfilled, you are essentially sending out a new frequency into the universe. And the universe, as it always does, responds by rearranging itself to match that frequency. The key to this vibrational shift lies in the depth of your feeling. Prayer is not a mere recitation of words. It is a deep emotional connection to the truth you are assuming. When you pray, you are activating the emotional centers within you, awakening the divine energy that lies dormant. You are not simply asking for things to change. You are stepping into the feeling of already having what you desire. When you feel the joy, the abundance, the peace, and the love of already living the life you want, you are vibrating at the frequency of your desired outcome. This is where the power of overflow comes into play. Overflow is not just a concept or an idea. It is a state of being, an energetic flow that you must tap into. You cannot receive what you do not feel yourself worthy of. You cannot experience overflow if you are constantly vibrating at the frequency of lack or limitation. But when you pray, when you shift your consciousness to the state of abundance, when you feel yourself already in the flow of infinite possibilities, you cannot help but attract overflow into your life. As Neville teaches us, the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the most powerful force in the universe. The prayer you are about to engage in is designed to awaken this feeling within you. It is not just about speaking the words, it is about embodying them, living them, feeling them with every fiber of your being. As you pray, allow yourself to fully immerse in the emotion of your desires already realized. See it, feel it, and allow it to vibrate through you. The universe will respond. This vibrational shift does not take effort. It does not require struggle or striving. It requires only that you be in the state of already having. The more you allow yourself to feel this overflow, to live in the assumption of abundance, the more you will see it manifest in your life. Your prayer is your first step toward raising your vibration, and as you continue to pray, you will find that the universe must meet you where you are. Overflow will begin to show up in every area of your life, not because you worked for it, but because you became it. Overflow, my friend, is far more than the physical manifestation of material wealth or abundance. It is a divine state of being, an inner realization of your inherent connection to the infinite. It is the unbroken flow of energy, love, and possibility that pours forth from the infinite wellspring of creation, and it is yours by birthright. When you hear the word overflow, you may immediately think of financial abundance or an excess of resources in some tangible form. And while these are certainly aspects of overflow, they are merely the outer expressions of a much deeper spiritual truth. At its core, overflow is the experience of spiritual, emotional, and mental abundance. It is the realization that you, as a child of the divine, are fully equipped with all the energy, wisdom, and creativity necessary to manifest the life of your deepest desires. Overflow is the recognition that the universe is not a place of lack or limitation, but a boundless ocean of possibilities waiting for you to dive in and claim your share. The truth is that overflow is not something you need to chase or strive for. It is not something that is outside of you, waiting to be found. Overflow is your natural state. It is the inherent flow of divine energy that is always available to you, always surrounding you, always moving through you. The challenge is not in trying to create overflow, but in learning to align with it, to open yourself fully to the flow of abundance that is already within you. When you align with overflow, you no longer view the world through the lens of scarcity. You stop believing in limits and lack. You no longer see yourself as separate from the infinite resources of the universe. Instead, you realize that you are one with that flow, that the divine abundance of the universe is flowing through you at all times. This recognition is what activates the state of overflow in your life. As Neville Goddard teaches, you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and overflow is no different. You must feel the flow, live the abundance, and know that it is already yours. Overflow, in spiritual terms, is the direct result of living in alignment with your true self. When you are in harmony with the divine within you, everything you need, emotionally, mentally, physically, flows effortlessly into your life. There is no struggle, no effort required. This is the essence of overflow. It is the natural, effortless expression of your divine nature, the reflection of your inner abundance made manifest in the world around you. Shifting your vibration is not an act of force or willpower, nor is it a matter of constantly striving or trying to become someone you are not. The true power lies in recognizing that the vibration you seek to embody is already within you, already part of your being. It is not something that is distant or separate from you. To shift your vibration permanently, you must first come to terms with this spiritual truth. You are already whole, already abundant, and already aligned with everything you need. The vibration of your desires is already present, and your job is simply to align with it, to match the frequency of that state of being, and to allow it to flow through you. When Neville Goddard speaks of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he is referring to this very principle. The feeling you wish to experience is not a future event to wait for. It is a present truth to embody. The challenge, however, lies in consistently maintaining this alignment with the desired state. It is not about occasional bursts of feeling or brief moments of prayer. It is about living in a continuous state of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is about living, breathing, and thinking as if your desires are already reality, and allowing that assumption to govern every thought, every action, and every belief. This, my friend, is the permanent shift. You do not need to constantly try to shift your vibration. You simply need to be that vibration. To permanently shift your vibration, you must make it your dominant state of being. This requires a deep shift in consciousness, a realignment of your inner world with the state of abundance, overflow, and divine connection that you seek. It means that no matter what is happening around you, no matter the appearance of circumstances or challenges, you must continue to live from the assumption that you are already experiencing your desires. Every time you feel doubt or fear creeping in, return to your prayer. Return to the feeling of overflow and remind yourself that this state is already yours. It is not something that you have to wait for. It is not something that requires time, effort, or struggle. It is simply a shift in your perception, a shift in your consciousness, a shift in your feeling. As you continue to make this shift, it becomes easier and easier to live in the state of overflow. Your vibration naturally rises, and the external world begins to reflect this higher state. The key to permanent change, to permanent overflow, is consistency. You must not waver from your inner alignment with abundance. Every time you affirm the feeling of the wish fulfilled, every time you pray with the full embodiment of your desires, you strengthen that vibration and you strengthen your connection to the divine flow of abundance. The more consistently you live in that alignment, the more it becomes your natural state, and the more your life will reflect the overflowing abundance that is already yours. Now that you understand the principles of raising your vibration and shifting your consciousness, it is time to put them into action. Prayer, as I have shared, is not a mere asking. It is a powerful act of assuming the state of the wish fulfilled. It is the declaration of your divine right to live in overflow. And today, we will begin with a prayer that will elevate your vibration and align you with the boundless abundance of the universe. This prayer is designed to awaken the divine flow that already exists within you, and to bring your mind, body, and spirit into alignment with the frequency of overflow. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the energy around you, the energy that you are constantly radiating. Understand that this prayer is not just words spoken into the air. It is the activation of the energy already present within you. Allow yourself to fully feel the power of this prayer as it resonates with the core of your being. Allow these words to settle deep within you, where your true self resides. As you speak, feel them as if they are already true. And so, let us begin. I am the source of my abundance. I accept the fullness of life now. Overflow is my natural state, and I am in complete alignment with divine abundance. Everything I need flows to me easily and effortlessly. I open myself to the infinite supply of the universe, and I allow this divine flow to manifest in every area of my life. I am worthy, I am abundant, and I am now living in the fullness of all that I desire. Feel these words, not as a wish, but as a declaration. You are not asking for abundance. You are claiming it as your own. You are not seeking overflow from a place of need. You are recognizing that overflow is your natural state, your divine inheritance. This prayer will not only raise your vibration in this moment, but it will also serve as an anchor, a reminder, and a constant affirmation of the divine flow that is always available to you. Let the energy of this prayer settle in your heart. Feel it rising from the depths of your being, filling every cell, every thought, and every desire with the certainty that overflow is here, now. As you continue to pray with this awareness, remember, you are not creating something new. You are simply aligning with what has always been yours. Now that you have been introduced to the overflow prayer, it is time to deepen your connection with it, to embody it fully, and to allow it to move through you. Reciting the prayer is not simply a matter of speaking words. It is a profound act of communion with your higher self, with the divine essence that resides within you. This prayer, my friend, is not just a tool to bring abundance into your life. It is a bridge between the world of the unseen and the seen, a gateway through which the divine flow of overflow can enter your life and transform it in unimaginable ways. As you recite this prayer, do not rush through the words. Each word is a vibration, each phrase a frequency, each sentence a declaration of your divine right to overflow. Let the words settle deep into your being. Feel them as you say them. The feeling, my friend, is the key. Words alone are not enough. You must feel the truth of these words in your heart, in your soul, in every fiber of your being. As you speak the prayer, begin to imagine what it would feel like to already live in the overflow. See it, feel it, experience it as if it were happening in this moment. Imagine that your every need is already met. Imagine the abundance flowing effortlessly to you in every area of your life, in your relationships, your finances, your health, your creativity, and your connection to the divine. Feel the joy, the peace, the security, the freedom, and the love that come from living in the flow of overflow. This is the true power of prayer. It is not just about asking for something outside of you. It is about aligning with the reality that you are already in possession of everything you desire. When you pray with feeling, you activate the vibration of abundance that already resides within you. You are no longer in a state of longing or lack. You are in a state of fulfillment, a state of knowing that all that you seek is already yours. Let the energy of the prayer wash over you. Feel it filling every cell of your body, every thought in your mind, and every emotion in your heart. Do not just speak the prayer, live it. Allow yourself to feel the overflow as it begins to permeate every part of your being. The more you immerse yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the more you raise your vibration to match the reality of divine abundance. This is the key to unlocking overflow in your life. It is the emotional activation of your desires. As you continue to recite the prayer, let the words sink deeper and deeper into your consciousness. Let them dissolve all doubt, all fear, all limiting beliefs. Let them replace every thought of scarcity or lack with the knowing that you are worthy of everything you desire. Feel the overflow flowing to you now in this moment, and know that it is already yours. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. You will no longer need to try to feel it. It will become your natural state of being. Overflow will cease to be something you hope for and will become something you know you are living. The universe, as Neville teaches us, responds to your assumption, and the assumption of overflow will bring forth the reality of overflow. You are now in the flow. Now that you have activated this prayer, now that you have raised your vibration and aligned yourself with the divine flow of overflow, the real work begins, living in that overflow every single day. Overflow is not a fleeting experience, it is a way of life. It is not something that happens occasionally, but something that becomes your natural, consistent state of being. You must make overflow a habit, not just a one-time prayer or momentary feeling. The divine flow is ever present, and it is yours to claim every moment, in every breath, in every thought, in every action. The key to living in overflow is consistency. It is not enough to feel abundant for a few moments and then fall back into old patterns of lack or limitation. No, the true power comes when you make the feeling of overflow your constant state of consciousness. You must begin each day, each moment, each action by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you wake up in the morning, affirm to yourself that overflow is already here. Say it with conviction, with feeling, with the certainty that it is already yours. Overflow is my natural state. I am living in divine abundance, now and forever. Throughout your day, when challenges arise, return to that feeling. When doubts creep in, remember that you are already in the flow. Remind yourself that abundance is your birthright and that everything you need is already flowing to you effortlessly. This is not just positive thinking, this is divine law in action. As Neville Goddard teaches, the law of assumption governs all that you experience. So, if you assume that overflow is your reality, then it must be. If you assume that abundance is flowing to you effortlessly, then it will. Making overflow a habit is about integrating this state of being into every area of your life. Whether you are dealing with your finances, your health, your relationships, or your creative endeavors, you must approach each aspect of your life from the standpoint of overflow. If you need more money, assume that the money is already yours. If you need more love, assume that the love you desire is already here, surrounding you in every moment. If you need more health, assume that your body is already thriving and filled with vitality. As you continue to make overflow a habit, you will find that the universe begins to rearrange itself to match your assumptions. Doors will open, opportunities will present themselves, and the things you need will begin to show up in your life in ways you could never have imagined. This is the power of living in overflow. It creates a magnetic field around you that draws everything you desire into your life. And so it becomes easier and easier. What once may have seemed difficult or out of reach will now feel natural and effortless. Overflow will cease to be something you hope for and will become something you know is always available to you. The key is to practice. Every day, every moment, every thought. Keep affirming, keep feeling, keep living in the knowing that overflow is already here. You are already in the flow. And as you continue to do this, you will find that the flow becomes stronger, more constant, more undeniable. Overflow is not a momentary event. It is a state of being that you can live in every day for the rest of your life. Living in the state of overflow is not a passive act. It is not about waiting for things to happen or hoping for a moment of divine intervention. No, living in the state of overflow is about embodying abundance with every fiber of your being. It is the understanding that you are already in the flow of everything you desire, and that the only thing required of you is to remain aligned with that flow. Overflow is not something that you attain through effort or struggle. It is a state of grace, of surrender, of trusting in the natural abundance that surrounds you and flows through you. When you truly live in the state of overflow, you stop seeing yourself as separate from the abundance of the universe. You stop looking at the world through the lens of scarcity, limitation, or fear. You no longer feel like you are lacking anything. Instead, you recognize that all things, all abundance, all love, all opportunities, all success are already here, already available to you. You are not waiting for anything to show up because you already know it is here. You are already in the presence of your desires. This shift in consciousness is everything. The moment you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of overflow, you stop pushing against the current of life. You stop forcing things to happen, and instead you start flowing with the natural rhythm of the universe. You begin to trust that everything you need will come to you at exactly the right time, in exactly the right way. Your desires are not far off or out of reach. They are already on their way to you, drawn by the magnetic power of your own assumption and vibration. Living in overflow is about releasing resistance. When you resist, when you cling to fear, doubt, or anxiety, you block the flow. You hold on to old beliefs that say you are unworthy, that you are not enough, or that you have to work hard for everything you want. But when you release that resistance and surrender to the knowing that everything you need is already within you, the universe begins to work with you, not against you. It rearranges itself to match your vibration. You no longer have to struggle to make things happen. Instead, you allow them to unfold naturally, effortlessly. And this is the beauty of living in overflow. It is easy. It is not about forcing things into being. It is about aligning your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions with the knowing that you are already living in the fullness of all that you desire. When you consistently live in the state of overflow, you will see the external world begin to reflect that inner state. Opportunities will come to you without effort, relationships will flourish, and financial abundance will flow freely into your life. But the key is to remain rooted in this state of overflow, no matter what challenges or circumstances arise. It is easy to feel abundant when everything is going well, when life is flowing smoothly. But the true power comes when you can maintain your vibration of overflow, even in the face of adversity. When you can trust that abundance is your natural state, even when things seem to be going wrong, you will see that the universe is always working in your favor. So, continue to live in the state of overflow. Every day, every moment, Feel the abundance within you. Know that you are connected to the infinite source of all things, and that there is nothing you need to get or earn. It is already yours. Live as though you are already living the life you desire, and the universe will have no choice but to reflect that back to you in kind. Overflow is not a temporary state. It is your birthright. It is who you truly are, and when you live in that truth, everything else falls into place. As you move forward from this moment, it is important to remember that you are no longer the person you once were. You have experienced a profound shift, an awakening to the truth of your divine nature. And with that awakening comes a new identity. You are no longer bound by the limiting beliefs, fears, or doubts that once held you back. You are no longer defined by the stories of struggle, lack, or limitation that may have once seemed like your reality. No longer are you the one waiting for abundance to arrive. You are the one living in it, knowing it as your natural state. This is the moment of transformation. The transformation that you've been seeking is not somewhere out there in the future. It is here, now. The overflow you long for, the abundance you've prayed for, is already yours. But in order to fully step into this new identity, you must constantly reaffirm it, day by day, moment by moment. You must step into this new version of yourself as though it is already a reality. And you must speak the truth of your new identity with absolute conviction. Affirm your new identity as often as you can, with power, with certainty, with the knowing that it is not only true, but is the only truth. Speak to yourself and claim, I am abundant. I am overflowing with divine blessings. I am worthy of all that I desire, and I accept this abundance as my birthright. These are not just words. These are declarations of your new reality, declarations that will shape the very fabric of your being. As you speak these words, feel their truth settle deeply into your subconscious mind. Let them become a part of your cellular consciousness, where they will begin to rearrange your thoughts, your actions, and your beliefs to match the new identity you are claiming. To live in overflow is to embody it at the core of your being. It is not something external. It is something you must become. So begin to live as though you already are the abundant, overflowing version of yourself. The more you affirm this new identity, the more you will see it reflected in the world around you. You will notice opportunities appearing, people showing up with the support you need, and synchronicities guiding you along your path. This is not coincidence. This is the power of your new identity in action. The old you, the one who doubted, who lacked, who struggled, is gone. You have transcended that identity, and now you stand in the fullness of your divine potential. You are not the person you were yesterday. You are the person who already has everything they need. You are the embodiment of overflow, and everything in your life must now align with this truth. Your identity has shifted, and with it, your entire reality will follow suit. Once you have recited the prayer and affirmed your new identity, there is one last step in this process. Trust. It may sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful aspects of manifestation and the law of assumption. Trusting that the prayer has already worked. Trusting that the divine overflow is already flowing into your life, and allowing yourself to fully surrender to this truth. You do not need to continue striving or forcing your desires into reality. The moment you begin to truly feel the vibration of overflow within you, the universe begins to rearrange itself to match that new inner state. Many of us fall into the trap of believing that we must constantly push, struggle, or manipulate the external world to bring our desires into being. We think that our efforts, our actions, our willpower, our control are what make things happen. But the truth is, the universe does not respond to force. It responds to alignment. It responds to your inner world, to the feeling that you embody and the assumptions you live by. When you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, when you truly live from the knowing that overflow is already here, the universe cannot help but respond in kind. This is where true mastery lies. When you stop trying to control how your desires will come into being and allow the prayer to work for you, that is when the floodgates open. The overflow you seek is not something that needs to be coerced into existence. It is already here, already flowing, already within you. The prayer you have spoken is the catalyst, the spark that ignites the divine flow. But after that moment, it is no longer about effort. It is about allowing the universe to deliver what you have already claimed as yours. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly. Trust that the universe is moving in your favor, rearranging people, circumstances, and events to bring your desires into physical form. You do not need to know how it will come or when it will come. The prayer is not a request, it is an assumption. You are assuming that your desires are already here, and that assumption is what moves the universe to bring them to you. The process of manifestation is not about waiting for the right time or the right circumstances. It is about living from the assumption that it is already done, that overflow is already yours, that you are already living in abundance. As you let go of the need to control and simply trust, you will notice a shift in your experience. You will feel lighter, freer, more at peace. The pressure to make things happen will dissolve, and you will begin to notice that things are happening effortlessly around you. Opportunities will present themselves in the most unexpected ways. Resources will appear when you need them, and people will show up with the support you need. This is not magic. This is the law of assumption in action. When you assume the state of overflow and trust that the prayer has worked, the universe responds by bringing that state into physical reality. So let the prayer work for you. Trust in the process, trust in the divine timing, and trust that everything is already coming to you. The more you align with this truth and embody it fully, the more you will see the overflow manifest in your life. The universe is already on your side, already working to bring you everything you desire. All that is left for you to do is to live in the knowing that it is already yours. In the final moments of this journey, as you have prayed, affirmed, and shifted your vibration, it is time for you to step into the ultimate place of power, a place where the need for external validation fades away, and you are left standing in the quiet certainty of your divine truth. It is here, in this sacred stillness, that you will give your higher self the silent command to bring forth your overflow, your abundance, and your true potential. The beauty of living in overflow is that you no longer need to beg, you no longer need to plead, and you no longer need to ask for what is already yours. The act of prayer, the act of assuming your divine identity, is not about requesting something from a distant God. It is about recognizing the power that lies within you, the infinite creative force that moves through every breath you take. You, in your essence, are one with the divine, and the overflow you seek is already inside you. To make this shift permanent, you must now command this truth silently to your higher self. There is no more asking, there is no more waiting. You now stand in the knowledge that everything you need, everything you desire, is already flowing to you. And so, in this moment of complete surrender, you give the silent command, I am overflow, I am abundance, I am already living in the fullness of my desires. In the silence of your being, you affirm this reality, not with words spoken aloud, but with the quiet, powerful knowing deep within your soul. Feel the words rise from your inner core, not as an outward expression, but as an inward truth, emanating from the depth of your divine consciousness. This is the point where you no longer look to the world to change. You know with absolute certainty that the world must change to reflect the truth you hold within. The outer world must mirror your inner state, and as you continue to command it, the universe will bend itself to meet you where you stand. This silent command is your ultimate act of power. You are no longer the seeker, no longer the one who is looking for answers or striving for what they want. You are the creator. You are the one who knows, without a shadow of a doubt, that you already have everything you need. The universe responds to the silent command of the higher self, the place within you that knows no limits, no lack, and no doubt. It is the part of you that is connected to the infinite, and when you call upon this part of yourself, all things must come into alignment. As you stand in this silence, feel the fullness of your divine inheritance surrounding you. Feel the overflow already manifesting in your life. See it in your relationships, in your finances, in your health, in your creative endeavors. The more you embody this truth, the more you will see it reflected in the outer world. The overflow is not something that will come to you in the future. It is already here, already happening, already in motion. Take a moment now, in this quiet space, to simply be. Let go of any remaining doubt, any lingering fear, and allow yourself to fully step into your divine identity as the creator of your reality. In this silence, you are free. Free from the need to force or control, free from the limitations of time and space, and free to live as the infinite, abundant being you truly are. This is the power of the silent command. It is the acknowledgement of your divine self, the one who knows that all things are already within. And from this knowing, overflow flows freely and effortlessly into every area of your life. Trust that the universe is already rearranging itself to match this truth. Trust that everything is already on its way to you. All you need to do now is live as if it is already done. As you stand in the quiet, as you have recited the overflow prayer and assumed the divine state of your desire already fulfilled, it is time to integrate this prayer into your life, to make it your constant, unwavering anchor. This prayer, my friend, is not just a tool for a single moment. It is a powerful, living force that can continually elevate your vibration and keep you aligned with the overflow that is your birthright. It is your anchor in times of doubt, your reminder in moments of challenge, and your sacred affirmation that abundance is already here. The prayer itself is a profound, energetic declaration, a declaration that you are already living in the fullness of divine abundance. The words are not just words, they are an invocation, a summons to the universe to align with your assumed reality. They bring your inner state of consciousness into harmony with the greater, infinite consciousness that surrounds you. They activate the divine law of assumption, and through this law, you call forth all that you desire, without effort, without struggle, and with unwavering certainty. But the key, my friend, is to make this prayer a permanent part of your being. It is not enough to simply recite it once or twice and expect the universe to manifest. No, the true power of the overflow prayer lies in the consistency with which you live it. You must speak it every day, with feeling, with conviction, as though it is the most natural truth of your existence. Every time you speak the words, you are reaffirming your alignment with overflow. Every time you feel the truth of those words, you are activating the universe to rearrange itself in your favor. Imagine for a moment that you are a vessel, and the overflow prayer is the divine current that flows through you. This current is not something you must summon, something you must create from scratch. It is already present, always available to you, ready to flow at any moment. But it is through your conscious recitation and embodiment of the prayer that you allow this flow to move through you, to fill you, to overflow into your world. You are not creating overflow out of thin air. You are simply allowing it to flow freely by removing all blocks, all doubts, all fears, all limiting beliefs that say you are not worthy or capable of receiving abundance. By making the prayer a daily practice, you are reinforcing your identity as the one who lives in overflow. You are affirming with every repetition that you are not waiting for abundance to arrive. You are already in it. You are already one with it. And as you continue to speak these words with deep feeling, the more they will take root in your consciousness. The more you align with the prayer, the more the prayer aligns with your life. The overflow that you desire will no longer be something you seek from the outside. It will become your constant reality, a natural and effortless part of your existence. As you anchor yourself in the overflow prayer, know that it will serve as a powerful guide and tool throughout your journey. It will carry you through times of doubt, reminding you that you are already living in abundance. It will serve as a beacon, shining through the fog of fear and uncertainty, reminding you that you are not separate from the divine flow. And with each passing day, as you continue to embody the prayer, you will find that the universe begins to reflect back to you the very abundance, the very overflow that you have assumed to be your truth. Allow the prayer to work for you in the quiet moments, in the busyness of your day, and in the midst of challenges. Let it be the constant reminder that you are always connected to the infinite source of all things, and that overflow is not just a distant dream, it is your present reality. You are living in it now. You are overflowing with divine blessings, and every day you will continue to grow more and more into the fullness of all that you are. Now that you have anchored yourself in the overflow prayer, now that you have felt the power of the divine flow move through you, it is time to shift permanently. This shift, however, is not just a momentary transformation. It is a continuous, eternal realignment with the truth of your divine nature. Overflow is not something that happens intermittently. It is not something that comes and goes with the whims of external circumstances. Overflow is your natural state, and when you align with it, when you live from this understanding, it becomes an ever-present reality, a constant, steady stream that flows through every area of your life. To live in overflow means to live in perpetual connection with your higher self, the infinite source of all creation. It means knowing that no matter what happens around you, no matter what challenges or difficulties you may face, the overflow is always there, always available. It is like a river that flows beneath the surface, even when the world above may appear calm, still, or even tumultuous. When you are aligned with overflow, you know deep within you that you are always in a state of abundance, always in a state of divine flow. This shift requires a deep inner knowing. It is not about trying to force things to happen, to struggle for what you want, or to manipulate the outer world to bend to your will. No, the true power lies in surrendering to the flow, in trusting that the universe is always working in your favor, in aligning your inner world with the abundance that is already available to you. The more you allow this flow to move through you, the more you will see it reflected in your external world. This is the beauty of living in overflow. It is not something that you must chase after, something that you must strive for, something that you must wait to deserve. It is already yours, waiting to be claimed by your awareness, waiting to be activated by your belief in your own divine nature. To live in a constant state of overflow is to live with an unshakable certainty that all of your desires are already fulfilled, that the universe is already rearranging itself to meet your needs, and that nothing can stand in the way of your divine destiny. This certainty, this knowing, is what attracts the flow of overflow into your life. As Neville Goddard teaches, the outer world is but a reflection of your inner state. So, when you live in a state of knowing that abundance is your reality, the world must reflect that truth. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions must align with the overflow that you know to be already here. This state of overflow is not reserved for the lucky few or the chosen ones. It is available to everyone who is willing to embrace it, to step into it with full faith and trust. The shift is not about changing who you are. It is about remembering who you are. You are not a limited being, struggling to survive in a harsh and unforgiving world. You are an infinite creator, capable of aligning with the divine flow of abundance and allowing it to manifest in every area of your life. And so, as you continue to live in this state of overflow, remember that it is not something that you attain or achieve through effort or force. It is something that you become. Overflow is your natural state. Abundance is your birthright. The universe is already working in your favor, already aligning all things for your highest good. Your only job is to trust, to believe, and to continue living in the knowing that overflow is already here, flowing through you and filling every aspect of your life with the richness and fullness that is your divine inheritance. In the quiet of surrender lies the deepest power of creation. It is not through force or struggle that you unlock your divine overflow, but through the gracious surrender to the flow of abundance that is already yours. The universe, in all its infinite wisdom, moves with a rhythm far greater than the small, limited human mind can comprehend. It flows effortlessly, in perfect harmony with the divine intelligence that governs all things. When you surrender to this flow, when you release the need to control and simply trust that all things are already in motion, you align yourself with the very pulse of creation itself. You see, abundance is not something that is earned or fought for. It is not a prize that is bestowed upon the worthy. No, abundance is a state of being, a natural state of grace that flows through all who are open to receiving it. The moment you stop resisting and allow the universe to work on your behalf, everything you have ever desired will begin to unfold before you, as if by magic, yet with a divine perfection. This is the paradox of the divine flow. It is effortless, yet it produces results that exceed anything you could have achieved through forceful striving. Surrender does not mean passivity. It does not mean giving up on your dreams or desires. Rather, it means stepping out of the way, trusting that the universe knows better than you, and allowing it to lead you to your highest good. When you surrender to the flow of abundance, you let go of the limiting beliefs and the old stories that have held you captive. You stop telling yourself that you are not worthy, that you must work harder, that success and love and wealth are for someone else. Instead, you embrace the truth of your divine inheritance and trust that all things are already unfolding for you. In the stillness of surrender, you are finally able to hear the quiet whispers of the universe, guiding you, directing you, showing you the way. This guidance may not always come in the form you expect. It may not always be immediate, but when you are in alignment with the divine flow, you will know, without a doubt, that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. There is no need for worry, no need for fear, because you are no longer struggling against the current. You are no longer trying to swim upstream. You are simply allowing the flow to carry you to your destination, knowing that wherever it leads you, it will be perfect. This is the beauty of surrender. It is the release of all resistance, the letting go of control, and the opening to the divine wisdom that moves through every moment of your life. The more you surrender, the more you align with the flow of abundance, and the more you will see that abundance manifest in every area of your existence. Your relationships will flourish, your health will thrive, your finances will multiply, and your creativity will flow like an endless river. All because you have chosen to trust the process, to release the need to control, and to surrender to the divine flow that is always available to you. As you surrender, you stop fighting against your own desires. You stop doubting that you are worthy. You stop believing that you must prove your worthiness to the universe. Instead, you step into the truth that you are already worthy, that overflow is your natural state, and that all things are already aligned for you. The universe, in all its beauty and perfection, is always working in your favor. And when you surrender to that truth, you allow everything you have ever wanted to come to you effortlessly. Trust the process, trust the flow, and surrender to the divine wisdom that is always available to you. You are not alone in this journey. The universe is with you, guiding you, supporting you, and showering you with all the abundance you could ever need. Let go of the struggle. Step into the flow, and let the divine abundance of the universe overflow into your life, now and always. One of the most challenging aspects of living in overflow, of stepping into the divine flow of abundance, is learning to trust the timing of the universe. It is so easy to look at the outer circumstances of your life and feel impatient, to feel as though things are taking too long, or that you are not receiving what you have been asking for. But the divine flow operates on a different timeline, one that transcends the limitations of the physical world and moves in perfect harmony with the eternal rhythms of creation. To trust the timing of the universe is to trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, in its own perfect time, even when it seems like nothing is happening at all. It is in these moments of perceived waiting, of uncertainty, that you are truly being asked to deepen your faith. The universe is never in a hurry. It knows that everything is already in motion, that everything you desire is already yours in the spiritual realm, waiting to be fully realized in the physical. But this process of realization, of manifestation, takes time, not because the universe is slow or reluctant to give you what you want. but because it is aligning all things in perfect harmony to deliver your desires to you in the most divine and expansive way possible. Trusting the timing of the universe requires that you let go of the need to control the when of your desires. It is about releasing the impulse to force things to happen, to rush into action because you feel as though you are missing out, or to try to manipulate the external world to match your internal desires. The universe works in its own perfect timing, and when you align yourself with that timing, you begin to see that everything unfolds with ease, with grace, and with divine precision. Think of the process of planting a seed. Once the seed is planted, you do not rush it. You do not demand that it grow overnight. You do not stand over it, telling it to sprout immediately. Instead, you trust that the seed knows exactly what to do. You nurture it, water it, and provide it with the right conditions, but the seed itself grows in its own time. It is the same with your desires. Once you have planted the seed of your prayer, once you have spoken the words of overflow into your life, you must trust that everything is already in motion. You must trust that the universe is working behind the scenes, aligning all things to bring your desires into your reality. When you surrender to the timing of the universe, you also release the stress, the anxiety, and the fear that often accompany waiting. Instead of wondering when it will happen or doubting that it ever will, you begin to trust that everything is already unfolding perfectly. You begin to feel a deep sense of peace, knowing that the universe is always in motion, always working on your behalf, and that the divine overflow you have already claimed is being prepared for you in exactly the right moment. The more you trust the timing of the universe, the more you will begin to notice the subtle signs of its perfect orchestration. You will start to see how all the pieces of your life are falling into place, how opportunities arise at just the right time, and how people show up in your life exactly when you need them. Trusting the timing of the universe is an act of faith in its infinite wisdom and divine order. It is knowing that you are never alone in this journey, and that everything is always working out for your highest good. So, as you continue to live in overflow, as you continue to embody the divine abundance that is already yours, remember to trust the timing of the universe. Trust that everything you desire is already on its way to you, and that the moment it is ready to manifest will be the perfect time for you to receive it. You do not need to rush. You do not need to force. You simply need to trust. The universe is always on your side, and its timing is always perfect. Trust it and let go of the need to control. Everything is already unfolding for you in divine order. As you step deeper into the state of overflow, it becomes clear that you are not just a recipient of abundance. You are also a channel through which abundance flows. Overflow is not something that merely enters your life and stays there. It is not a static condition, but a dynamic force, a movement that continues to grow and expand, touching every aspect of your being and radiating outwards to affect the world around you. To live in overflow is to understand that the more you allow this divine flow to move through you, the more it flows to others, and the more it returns to you in ever-increasing quantities. The principle of overflow is based on the understanding that energy is never depleted when it is shared. In fact, the more you give, the more you receive. This may sound counterintuitive in a world that often teaches us to hoard and cling to what we have, fearing scarcity, but it is a fundamental truth of divine abundance. The universe operates on the principle of circulation, of giving and receiving, of ebb and flow. When you allow yourself to be a vessel for this divine flow, when you allow the overflow to flow through you to others, you open the door for even greater abundance to flow into your own life. This is where true power lies, not in accumulating for yourself, but in allowing yourself to be the conduit for the divine flow. When you embrace the flow of overflow, you realize that it is not just about receiving more for yourself, but about being a blessing to others, about sharing the abundance that you have received with the world. As you do so, the universe, in its infinite wisdom, replenishes your supply and expands it, bringing more and more into your life. This is the divine law of circulation in action. To live as a channel for overflow requires a deep understanding of who you are and why you are here. You are not just a human being struggling to survive, competing with others for limited resources. You are a divine being, part of the infinite creative force of the universe. You are a co-creator with God, and as such, your role is not only to receive abundance, but to share it, to expand it, to pass it on. This is what it means to live in overflow. It is a state of perpetual giving and receiving, of being a conduit for divine energy to flow through and into every area of your life. As you embrace this flow, you begin to see that there is no end to it. There is no limit to what you can give, no limit to what you can receive, because the source of this flow is infinite. The more you allow it to move through you, the more it will expand, touching every part of your life and the lives of those around you. You will see opportunities arise to help others, to share your gifts, to inspire and uplift. And as you do, you will notice that the flow of abundance in your own life grows even more. But remember, this flow is not something you can force. It is not something you need to control or manipulate. It is a natural, organic movement that occurs when you align with your higher self and trust in the divine wisdom of the universe. The more you align with this flow, the more you allow it to guide you, the more you will see how effortlessly it fills every part of your life. Overflow becomes not just something that happens to you, but something that you are. It is your very nature. You are the vessel, the conduit, the channel through which divine abundance flows into the world. And the more you embrace this truth, the more it will manifest in your life. So as you continue on this journey of overflow, remember that you are not just here to receive. You are here to give, to share, and to be a channel for the infinite abundance of the universe. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you allow the flow to move through you, the more it will expand. Overflow is not just for you, it is for everyone. And as you embrace this truth, you will find that the abundance you seek is not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of all. The universe, in all its infinite complexity and beauty, is an exact mirror of your inner world. Every thought, every belief, every feeling you hold creates a vibration, and that vibration is sent out into the universe, where it is reflected back to you in the form of experiences, people, and circumstances. When you live in the state of overflow, when you are aligned with the divine flow of abundance, the universe cannot help but reflect that state back to you. The key then is to stop looking outside of yourself for the confirmation of your overflow. Instead, look within. The universe, in its divine wisdom, is always responding to the vibrational frequency you are emitting. When you embody overflow, when you assume that abundance is your natural state, the universe must reflect that truth. It cannot do otherwise. You must trust this universal law. You must trust that everything you desire, everything you need, is already on its way to you, drawn to you by the frequency of your own vibration. You are not separate from the universe. You are an integral part of it. When you change your internal state, when you align yourself with the feeling of overflow, with the knowing that abundance is your birthright, the universe must meet you where you are. However, the real magic begins when you stop waiting for the universe to prove it to you. You must stop looking at external circumstances and doubting your overflow. The reflection is already here, already in motion, and the more you align with the truth of overflow, the more you will see it in your life. The key is to hold your vibration steady, to live in the state of abundance even when the external world has not yet fully caught up with your inner shift. This is the challenge of living in overflow. It is not about seeing is believing, it is about believing so strongly that you create the evidence through your unwavering faith. Every time you see a challenge or a perceived obstacle in your life, remind yourself that it is not a block to your overflow. It is simply an opportunity for you to reaffirm your divine alignment with abundance. Every moment of doubt is an invitation to return to your prayer, to return to the truth of your new identity, to remember that you are not at the mercy of external conditions, but are the master of your own reality. The universe reflects your overflow not because of what you do, but because of who you are. In this process, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your world. People will show up in your life who reflect your new vibration of abundance. Opportunities that seemed impossible will begin to unfold before you. Financial flow will increase, not because you are desperately trying to control it, but because you are no longer in resistance to it. Health, relationships, and personal growth will all begin to mirror the overflow you have assumed to be true within yourself. The beauty of this law is that the more you align with the vibration of overflow, the more it begins to appear effortlessly in your life. You do not need to convince the universe to give you what you desire. You do not need to force things to happen. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, will respond to the energy you emit. As you live from a place of overflow, you will see that everything you need, everything you desire, is drawn to you. It is simply the natural consequence of living in alignment with your divine truth. So allow the universe to reflect your overflow. Stop trying to force things into being. Trust that your internal state is already creating the conditions for your desires to manifest. The more you live from the knowing that overflow is already yours, the more you will see it reflected in every corner of your life. This is the divine law at work. This is the power of your own assumption, your own vibration, and your own alignment with the abundant flow of the universe. Faith, when truly understood, is not merely the act of hoping for something to come. It is the deep, unwavering knowing that everything you desire is already in motion, already set into place by the very law of your consciousness. To live with absolute faith in overflow is to trust, without hesitation, that your desires are not only possible, but inevitable. This is not faith in a distant, disconnected force or in a vague promise from the universe. This is faith in yourself, in your power to shape reality with your consciousness, and in your divine inheritance of abundance. Overflow is not something you have to wait for. It is something you must claim. And to claim it, you must live in the deep, knowing that it is already yours. Faith is the inner conviction that you are the creator of your experience. It is the certainty that everything you have assumed in your mind will materialize into your outer world. When you live with absolute faith in overflow, you no longer question whether your desires will manifest. You do not waver, you do not doubt, and you do not fear the process of creation. Instead, you stand in full confidence, trusting that the prayer you have spoken, the assumption you have made, is already bringing your desires into being. As you release resistance, remember that the universe is abundant beyond measure. There is no shortage of love, money, or success in the world. It is only when we close ourselves off to this truth, when we believe in scarcity and lack, that we block the flow. Releasing resistance means opening yourself to the infinite possibilities that are already available to you, trusting that there is more than enough for everyone. And when you truly embody this truth, when you begin to trust that there is no limit to what you can receive, you will find that the flow of overflow becomes not just a concept, but a living, breathing reality. Each time you release a little more resistance, you open yourself to a greater level of abundance. You allow more of your desires to come to fruition, and you move into alignment with the divine flow that is always moving through you. In these moments of release, you step into your true power, the power to receive without guilt, without fear, and without hesitation. You are worthy of the overflow, and as you let go of resistance, you will see it pour into your life effortlessly and abundantly. So, let go of the need to control, to strive, or to fight for what is already yours. Allow yourself to feel worthy of overflow. Release the resistance that says you must earn or deserve what you desire, and trust that the universe is always ready to provide, always ready to bring you everything you need. You are a vessel for the divine flow of abundance, and as you release resistance, you will find that overflow naturally fills every part of your life. As we bring this transformative journey to a close, I want to remind you of the incredible power that lies within you. Overflow is not a far-off dream. It is the truth of who you are. You are divine in nature, abundant in every sense of the word, and capable of manifesting all that you desire. The universe has already conspired in your favor. All that you need to do now is to continue living from this new understanding, to trust that everything you have prayed for is already in motion, and to allow the divine flow to work in your life in ways you may not yet fully comprehend. It is vital that you carry the energy of this prayer, this practice, and this knowledge into your everyday life. Every time you encounter a challenge, an obstacle, or a moment of doubt, return to your prayer. Return to your knowing. The overflow is already here. You are already living in abundance. Every time you affirm this truth, you fortify the spiritual foundation that will continue to support and uplift you. Each day, as you practice consistent alignment, you will see the external world shift to match your inner state. The more you live from the state of overflow, the more the universe will reflect that abundance back to you. Remember, this is not a one-time act. This is a lifelong journey of aligning with your true nature. You have the power to create your reality, and that power lies in your ability to consistently align with the divine flow of abundance. It is not about striving or forcing. It is about surrendering to the natural order of the universe and trusting that everything you desire is already yours. You have already activated the flow of overflow in your life, and as you continue to walk in faith, that flow will only increase, becoming more powerful and expansive with every passing day. Now, I want to offer you a simple yet profound invitation. Trust yourself, trust the process, and most importantly, trust that the overflow you have already prayed for is coming into your life right now. The universe has already begun rearranging itself to reflect the assumption that you are living in abundance. You are worthy of everything you desire, and the moment you truly embrace this truth is the moment that the floodgates of divine overflow will open wide. You are no longer the person you were before. You are living in divine overflow. And from this moment forward, everything in your life must align with this truth. Take a moment now to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel the abundance around you. Feel the divine flow moving through every aspect of your life. Now, as you move forward, continue to affirm this truth with every step you take. I am overflow. I am abundance. I am worthy of all that I desire. If this prayer, this journey, has stirred something deep within you, it is meant for you. Return to it whenever you feel doubt, whenever you feel disconnected, and let the flow of overflow remind you of who you truly are. Remember, you are always in control of your vibration, and the overflow you seek is already here, waiting for you to receive it. Take this new truth with you into the world and know that you are always supported, always abundant, and always in the flow of divine overflow. You are the creator of your reality, and the universe is waiting to deliver your desires. Trust that everything you have asked for is already on its way to you, and that this is just the beginning. Now I leave you with this simple yet powerful affirmation. I am overflow, and I live in the fullness of all that I desire. You did not find this message by mistake. You did not scroll, click, or stumble upon this word as an accident of curiosity or coincidence. You were summoned. You were called by something in you that is older than memory and deeper than thought. And now, something in your chest begins to respond, not to the sound of my voice, but to the recognition of your own. Because when God is ready to deliver what He has concealed in you, He does not shout. He does not shake the heavens. He whispers, and that whisper feels like a video you didn't mean to watch, until it begins to speak your name. You are not watching this to be motivated. You are not here for inspiration or novelty or entertainment. You are here because you've reached the end of something, the end of doubt, the end of questioning, the end of shrinking your vision to fit what hasn't arrived yet. You are here because you know, in the marrow of your being, that something is coming. You can't prove it, you can't explain it, but it's moving, it's rising, it's pressing against the inside of your being, and you have sensed it. The delay, the silence, the space that felt like nothing was happening. It was not absence, it was setup. You may not have seen it clearly, but your soul did. That dream you held on to in secret. That version of yourself you visit only in your imagination before sleep. That desire that never died, even after disappointment buried it 100 times. That is the seed God planted in you, and now the soil has cracked. The roots have drunk deeply, and the hour has arrived for it to be born. This is not metaphor, this is not poetry, this is prophecy. God is about to give you something big, but not from above you, not outside you, from within, from the place where I am meets assumption, where your word becomes law, where your state becomes substance, and you will not need to strive for it. You will not need to chase it. You will become it, and because you become it, it must find you. So listen not with your ears, but with your inner ear. Let this message not touch your logic, but pierce your awareness. Let it baptize you in remembrance that you are not here to beg, you are not here to prove, you are not here to earn what has already been spoken. You are here to receive. And that receiving begins now, not because I said so, but because you know so. You have walked with a promise burning silently in your heart for years. Some days it pulsed like a fire that kept you warm through cold circumstances, and other days it ached like a wound. A reminder that you had seen something others hadn't, felt something no one around you could understand, and yet your outer world refused to change. You assumed, you believed, you dared to feel the wish fulfilled, and still, the phone never rang, the door never opened, the mountain never moved, and in that silence, in that space where heaven seemed mute, a new voice crept in, doubt. You began to ask questions you once swore you'd never entertain. Did I make this up? Is this just fantasy? Maybe I'm not chosen. Maybe I misunderstood the law. You looked at others, those who did less but seemed to have more, and compared timelines, forgetting that your promise was tailored, sacred, eternal. You let the world seduce you into believing its metrics, that evidence is truth, that delay is denial, that silence means absence. But I tell you now, that is the greatest lie ever told. The waiting did not mean you were abandoned. The silence did not mean you were forgotten. The stagnation did not mean you were wrong. It meant only this: the self required to receive what you asked for had not yet been born. The version of you who imagined it was not the version who could hold it. And so, the law, being perfect, being divine, being just, did not rush to deliver something that would crush you. It waited, it watched, it worked in the unseen, shaping you, pruning you, emptying you of all that could not coexist with the weight of the promise you carried. And oh, how that pruning hurt, how it stripped the layers you once called identity, how it dismantled dreams you thought were steps but were really detours, how it made you feel invisible in a world of noise, silent in a world of shouting. But hear me, the ache you feel is not the ache of failure, it is the ache of expansion. It is the tension of a soul that stretched itself into a shape the world has never seen before. You feel stuck not because nothing is happening, but because everything is. You feel lost not because you're off the path, but because the old path has vanished, and the new one is forming beneath your feet as you walk. You are not late, you are not behind, you are not broken, you are in labor. This is what they never told you, that waiting is sacred, that waiting is alchemy, that the space between assumption and manifestation is the very womb of God. And in that womb, something more than your desire is being formed. You are. You are being shaped into the one who no longer asks, when will it happen, but declares, it is happening through me. You are being emptied of the need for signs, so that you may become the sign yourself. You are being refined by absence, so that your presence carries weight. So don't curse the ache, don't numb the waiting, don't bury the longing. Let it burn, let it carve, let it pull the false self out by its roots, because on the other side of this ache is the becoming that no man can take from you. The gift is not only what's coming, the gift is who you are becoming to hold it. There is a part of you, subtle, familiar, and often disguised as logic, that quietly whispers, it's not happening. This part doesn't scream. It does not fight you openly. It slides into the cracks during long delays, during missed calls, during empty mornings when nothing changes. It wears the face of reason. It pretends to be protecting you from disappointment. It tells you to be realistic, to temper expectations, to not get your hopes up too high. And yet, every time you obey that voice, you fracture. You split away from your deeper knowing. You dim your own power in the name of self-preservation. This voice is not your enemy. It is your old identity, the one built from years of living by sight instead of by assumption. It is the self that was trained by facts and conditioned by time. It's the voice of the inner orphan, abandoned by outcomes too many times, who now hides from his own desire because it's safer not to believe. And yet, he still wants, he still hopes, but his hope is twisted, defensive, afraid to be pierced again by the knife of unfulfillment. This identity is at war with the word you received in your imagination. You feel it when you assume a new state, that internal pullback, the quiet recoil. You declare, "I am wealthy," and immediately it whispers, "But what about the bills?" You decree, "I am loved," and it answers, "But you're still alone." This is not logic. It is the reflex of the fractured man, the one who has forgotten that imagination is not suggestion, it is creation. And as long as that fractured self is allowed to reign, as long as you allow him to be the dominant vibration, no assumption will hold. Because assumption is not just a thought, it is a state of being, a full possession of identity. And you cannot enter the state of the fulfilled man while secretly carrying the vibration of the disappointed boy. This is the moment of decision. Will you continue to worship the evidence of the old self? Will you continue to honor the memory of your past more than the authority of your imagination? Or will you burn the bridge? Will you declare, "I am no longer the man who waits, I am the man who has"? Will you leave behind the version of you that needed to be convinced and step into the version who commands? You are not being punished. You are being split between the self you've known and the self that is rising. And the pain you feel is not failure. It is the tearing away of the mask. It is the fracture healing in reverse. It is your soul remembering what it always was before the world taught you to forget. You must choose, not with words, but with being. You must become deaf to the inner orphan and loyal to the inner king. You must take your throne and stay there, even when the world pretends not to recognize you, because the world only mirrors what you assume. And if you assume you are still becoming, you will never be. But if you assume you already are, the world will submit. There is a rhythm behind all things, a sacred timing that is never late and never early, only perfectly attuned to the emergence of your awareness. You may have cried into your pillow and thought the silence was abandonment. You may have assumed delay meant dismissal. But I tell you now with divine certainty, you were never forgotten, not for a second, not in the darkest hour of your waiting, not in the most invisible moment of your faith. The I am in you has never lost track of the promise you dared to assume. The world may have turned its back on you. Friends may have stopped asking. The results may have dried up. But the law of consciousness never looked away. While you felt forgotten, your pattern was being perfected. While you questioned, the bridge was being built, not from wood or stone, but from states. Every unseen shift in your inner man laid another beam across the gap. And the one who has already become is the one who finds that the bridge was always there. God does not forget what God declares. And because your imagination is God in action, the moment you assumed your wish fulfilled, it was done, finished. The world had no choice but to begin bending, recalibrating, drawing in resources and people and moments to match the tone you dared to emit. But what the world cannot deliver before you are ready to receive, it must hold back until your identity stabilizes. This is mercy, not punishment. For what good is the promise if the one receiving it is still identifying with the absence? What use is the throne if the king still thinks like a slave? So the delay, the waiting, the ache, it was not neglect. It was grace, divine grace, shaping you, maturing you, clearing from your vibration all that would sabotage the gift the moment it arrived. You were not being tested. You were being trusted. Trusted with the weight of an inheritance so vast It could not be given to a fractured frequency. Trusted with a vision so sacred, it had to be guarded in the secret place until your tone matched its truth. You didn't need to work for it. You only needed to become it. And now you know. Now you can see that what you called stillness was strategy. That what you labeled nothing is happening was everything happening. Behind the veil, beneath the senses, within the inner man. The outer world moves slow because the invisible world moves deep. And now, something in you has caught up. The alignment is near. The tone has stabilized. And the law has one response to a fulfilled assumption. It must outpicture it. So rest in this revelation. God never forgot you. Your assumption never lost its grip. The vibration never left. It only went ahead, preparing the place, carving the path, planting the people. And now, all that's left is you. To stop looking, to stop needing, to stop checking, and simply receive what has always been yours. Everything you have ever received, and everything you have not, has come from the same source. Not from effort, not from people, not from fate or fortune, but from the assumption you carried about yourself in secret. And if that sounds too simple, it is only because the world has trained you to complicate truth, to outsource power, to live at the mercy of appearances. But I tell you, as I have always told you, imagination creates reality. There is no outer cause, there is no other power. Your I am is the root, your state is the signal, your assumption is the law. This is the forgotten inheritance, that God is not watching you, God is within you. God is not deciding what to give, God is becoming what you assume. And when you assumed lack, lack appeared. When you assumed delay, delay unfolded, not because you were wrong, but because you were right. Because the law does not judge, it only manifests. It is impersonal, perfect, and immediate, but only to the tone it receives. You must reawaken this law not as theory, but as truth so embodied, it cannot be forgotten again. You are not here to repeat mantras. You are not here to play spiritual games. You are here to take your place as the operant power. The world bends to your inner conviction, not sometimes, not eventually, but always, always. And if your outer world does not yet reflect your desire, it is not because the law failed. It is because you are still assuming from a place that contradicts your claim. You cannot serve two assumptions. You cannot declare, I am rich, while secretly vibrating with guilt. You cannot assume love while imagining rejection. You cannot decree dominion and then live like a beggar in your thoughts. The law listens only to the dominant state, not your wishes, not your words, not your emotional peaks, but your sustained inner self-concept. And that means freedom. Because the moment you shift your state, the moment you dare to assume your desire as already true, the world must mirror it. Not in time, not in days or weeks, but in consciousness now. And the physical is slow to obey. Yes, but it must obey. This is the moment where the game ends, where you stop asking how, where you stop looking out there. This is where you reclaim what was always yours, the cause, the root, the law itself. You are not a victim of your past. You are not a slave to the visible. You are not at the mercy of chance. You are the cause. And if you will believe this, not casually, not occasionally, but as the very breath you breathe, then everything you assumed in fear will unravel, and everything you assume in faith will rush to meet you. You asked and it did not come. You imagined and it did not appear. You believed and yet still you waited. And somewhere in that silence, you began to wonder, what did I do wrong? But I tell you now, nothing. You did not fail the law. You did not ruin your manifestation. You were simply not yet equal to the thing you asked for. The delay was not denial. The delay was design. The law never withholds. It is not testing you, teasing you, or punishing you. It is waiting for your identity to match your desire, for your inner state to become too stable to sabotage the blessing. This is the hidden mercy. Had you received the thing too early, it would have destroyed you. The love you begged for would have exposed your insecurity. The wealth you assumed would have amplified your unworthiness. The platform you envisioned would have magnified your instability. And so the law, in infinite precision, withheld not from cruelty, but from calibration. You cannot become what you will not contain, and you cannot contain what you do not embody. So the time between your assumption and its appearance is not dead space, it is sacred space. It is where the new man is forged. It is where the false self dies. It is where the vibration of contradiction is burned away, not by effort, but by awareness. This is the setup. This is the arrangement of grace. The very delay you resented was the room where you were becoming. And now look, you have changed. You no longer beg. You no longer chase. You no longer search for signs, because something in you knows, something in you has settled, something in you has let go of timing and taken hold of truth. And that shift, that silent inner click, is the sign you were waiting for. What you thought was stagnation was gestation. What you called stillness was alignment. What felt like abandonment was acceleration, but in the unseen realm first. Because everything is formed twice, first in imagination, then in visibility. And the longer the formation took inside, the quicker it arrives outside once the frequency matches. You are not starting over. You are not behind. You are not off course. You are in the center of the setup. And now, the weight of all that has been stored for you is ready to fall. But hear this. The moment of arrival will not feel dramatic. It will feel natural, because when the state is fully assumed, the outer world must obey in silence. What once seemed far off becomes obvious. What once felt supernatural now feels inevitable, not because it changed, but because you did. And now that you are equal to it, it must come. It must find you. It must reveal itself. Not because of time, not because of effort, but because you are now the one who has. You think you are waiting for money. You think you are waiting for the phone call, the email, the opportunity, the person, the healing, the open door. You believe the gift is some event, some arrival in the world of matter. But hear me now, what's actually coming is you, the real you, the one who was hidden beneath strategy and survival, the one who never needed proof, only permission, the one who doesn't perform, doesn't chase, doesn't shrink, the one who commands simply by being. The gift is not what arrives in your hands, it is what awakens in your spirit. The treasure is not what gets deposited into your account, it is the vibration that no longer doubts it belongs there. The reward is not in the manifestation, the reward is in the identity that holds the manifestation without fear, without flinching, without collapse. Because what good is the blessing if you can't hold the frequency that created it? What good is the answered prayer if you secretly believe it's too good to be true? What good is the open door if you walk through it still asking for permission? What's actually coming is not just a shift in circumstance, it is a shift in self. You are receiving the version of you who is already there, the one who doesn't need the world to say yes, because he already did. The one who doesn't need the timeline to cooperate because he already moved. The one who walks like prophecy is fact, who breathes as if he has already seen the end and found it good. You are not receiving a thing, you are receiving a tone. And once that tone becomes your baseline, once it becomes unshakable, the world must follow. Not because it is being generous, but because it has no choice. This is the mystery hidden in every manifestation. You never actually receive the desire. You receive the self who has always had it. And when that self becomes dominant, reality has to obey. So look again. The gift is not in the external. The real gift is the realization that you are the miracle, that your imagination is the creative force of God, that your inner state is the origin of every external condition, that nothing has been withheld, that nothing was ever missing, that everything you were waiting for was waiting for you to stop waiting. And now it's here, not out there, not later, not someday, but here, in this breath, in this body, in this I am. Now all that's left is to walk in it. From this moment on, the posture of your soul must change. You are no longer to walk as one who waits, begs, or wonders. That chapter is over. You are now to move, speak, and breathe as one who knows. The man who has. The man who no longer adjusts himself to the external, but causes the external to adjust to him. There must be no more if, no more when, no more negotiating with your senses for proof. You must now walk as the fulfilled man. Because the fulfilled man does not look for confirmation, he is the confirmation. You no longer speak about your desire as something coming. You speak from it as something that has already arrived in the unseen and is merely catching up in form. You do not declare, "It will happen." You say, "It has happened, and I am only now witnessing its unfolding." Every word, every step, every breath must now match the vibration of that inner conviction. Because the law has no eyes, no ears, no reason. It only feels. It registers your tone, and your tone is your reality. You must learn to walk through contradiction without flinching, to receive rejection without absorbing it, to watch delay without inhaling doubt, because nothing in the outer world has authority over the inner man unless you give it. So do not give it. Do not break posture. Do not betray your assumption. If the phone stays silent, praise God anyway. If the door remains closed, speak as if you've already walked through it. If the evidence says no, say yes louder, in silence, in stillness, in certainty. There will be moments when it feels ridiculous, when it seems delusional, when the people around you begin to question your sanity. Good, let them. Let their questions be your confirmation that you are no longer living at their level of cause and effect. Let their doubt prove that your reality no longer depends on consensus. It depends only on consciousness. The fulfilled man does not need to defend his state. He embodies it. He carries it like a secret the world can sense but never name. He moves with a calm that shakes rooms. He speaks with a tone that rearranges atoms. He does not chase, does not rush, does not seek approval. He assumes, and assumption is the anchor that keeps him from being moved. So from now on, you do not wait, you walk. You walk as if the thing you wanted most has already landed in your lap. You walk as if the call has already come. The money has already transferred. The hand has already touched yours. The door has already opened. And when you do, you will find that the world does not respond to effort. It responds to frequency, and frequency follows identity. So walk in your new identity. Not tomorrow. Now that you have stood through the noise, now that you have silenced the cry of doubt with the whisper of "I am," something begins to settle in you. It is not the thrill of arrival. It is not the fireworks of breakthrough. It is deeper, quieter. It is the divine calm, that holy stillness that comes not when the world has changed, but when you have. It is the vibration of a man who has burned through illusion, surrendered every question, and now rests inside his own knowing. This is the reward of the fulfilled one, not the thing, but the tone, not the outcome, but the peace of being equal to it. It is the unshakable stillness that no circumstance can stir, no timeline can rush, and no voice can interrupt. Because the war is over, not in the world, but in you. You no longer chase the promise. You embody the promise. You no longer talk about manifestation. You live it quietly, masterfully, immovably. And in this calm, the outer world begins to obey in silence, without announcement, without warning. Suddenly the money comes, the phone rings, the room opens, not because you tried harder, not because you proved yourself, but because the vibration was fulfilled, because your inner world had no more need, only truth. And that truth, that invisible "I have," became your identity, and identity is the only cause. From this calm, you will see things differently. You will notice that most of the world still lives in reaction, still begs for proof, still asks God to do what He already finished in you. You will have compassion, but not confusion, because you have been initiated. You have walked through the fire of doubt and emerged untouched. You have learned that stillness is not passivity. It is power contained. It is the throne of the one who no longer pretends to be small. So now you live from the throne. You do not plead. You do not chase. You do not explain. You simply radiate and let the world come into alignment with what you already are. This is the final state. Not excitement, not striving, but calm. The calm of the fulfilled man, the calm of God, the calm that says, "It is done." Say nothing. Do not explain this to anyone. Do not rush to share. Let the world wonder, Let them guess what changed. Let them feel your silence and sense the shift. You do not need to announce what is already true. You only need to walk in it, speak less, assume more, react less, radiate more. Let your posture be your testimony. Let your calm be your confirmation. And when the old voice returns, as it will, do not fight it. Just smile. You are no longer the man who needs to argue with doubt. You are the man who embodies truth. So go. Begin your next act not with force, but with frequency. Not with trying.